Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Manifest telecast, and we're excited to share with you a very unusual message. This is something that, to my knowledge, I have never in my lifetime heard it preached on. I know it's been preached on, but I'm talking about personally. First of all, this is not a message pastors are going to get up on a Sunday morning or Wednesday night and preach. It comes out of the apocalypse, but it is so unusual. It's called Rumblings within the bottomless pit. And I have been studying something for quite some time, and I'm not going to announce what it is. It deals with the underworld, some things that have been discovered that I have looked at, and I can compare it to Scripture. Very fascinating, but we're going to put out we're going to actually be taping a major DVD in the future. It won't be out this year, probably out next year, that I think is going to be absolutely stunning. But having said that, let's go to Revelation 9, 1 through 2. Let's begin. The fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Now, I want to say this up front. In the entirety of the Bible, which I've read through it many times, and I've read the Apocalypse probably hundreds of times, chapter 9 in Revelation, the book of Revelation, is the oddest, most difficult to explain chapter in the entirety of the Bible. It talks about a bottomless pit. It talks about these creatures coming out of the pit. It identifies them as locusts, but yet they have hair like a woman, a gold crown on their head, stings in their tails. It is very, very strange. Now, I'm not going to elaborate on this, but there have been people that have had experiences of dying in the hospital, coming out of their body, going into a place called hell, and they would see these similar creatures in the underworld area that almost are descriptive of what you read in Revelation 9. Now, I'm not going to touch that just other than to share that little tidbit with you. But in Revelation 9, it's the first part of the tribulation. There are 7 angels that have vials in their judgments, I should say. 6 of them are judgments. The 7th angel is the angel of transition. And so this is the 5th angel. The 5th angel has come down from heaven. He's identified as a star. The word star, especially in the Old Testament, but it's even in Revelation 12 where Satan, identified as the dragon, falls from heaven, and it says that his tail drew a third of the stars out of heaven and cast them to the earth. That's where we get the theological idea that a third of the angels of God fell with Satan. That's where that verse comes from in chapter 12. A star is a metaphor. It can be a literal star, or it can metaphorically be an angel or a heavenly being. We know that because in Job chapter 38 and 7, God says to Job, "Where were you when I created the heavens and the earth, when the sons of God sang together and the morning stars shouted for joy?" Now, the morning stars were not the planets and the galaxies and those twinkling lights in the heaven. They were the angels of God. So this star is an angel coming down with the key. Now, the word key, it can again be a word that's figurative or literal. In this case, it's figurative of authority. He has the key or the authority over the bottomless pit. You know, in Revelation 1:8, Jesus said, "I have the keys of death and hell." Well, the key again there is a metaphor for authority, because when you have the key to something, you have the authority to unlock it or lock it up. You understand what I'm saying? So you have an angel coming down with the authority over opening or closing something called the bottomless pit. Now, when the pit opens, this will manifest on earth in the tribulation period. There is a really dark smoke that comes bellowing out. Now, it doesn't say dark smoke, it just says a smoke. Now, when I think of this, immediately, I start thinking about like a volcanic eruption. That's what I immediately begin to think about, as a volcanic eruption. So as I look at this verse and I see this smoke, I know that the smoke is coming underneath the earth. It's there with fire. And as the pit opens, this smoke comes up. And this is really, to me, very intriguing, because when volcanoes erupt, that you see the pillars of smoke that billow up. Isaiah 5:14 wrote a very interesting verse when he said this: "Therefore hell has enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude, this is speaking of nations that are evil, and their pomp, and he that rejoices shall descend into it. Now, how does hell open its mouth without measure? Well, a mouth is an opening, and in my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion. First of all, the Hebrew word enlarged means basically to make room, to widen, or to broaden. And I believe it's opening and broadening because in Psalms 9:17 it says, the nations that forget God, nations, will be brought down into hell. So it's making space somewhere in the chamber of the underworld. This is my opinion now. And the volcanic lava that you see that comes out of the earth is coming out of the earth, and I believe it could be an imagery of caverns enlarging themselves somewhere in the lower parts of the earth, in the mantle of the earth.
Before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.